Welcome to Better Builds Nation, where the goal here is to inspire you to create better builds so you may elevate your gameplay and rise above the competition. In today's video, I will be showcasing the top 10 techs for the Altergeist deck. However, this list will not include cards that are used in nearly every version and are essentially staples in the deck. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off this list with number 10. Skill Drain can be absolutely devastating to your opponent. By preventing them from activating their monster effects, it can single-handedly shut down decks, making it one of the best floodgates to run in the Altergeist deck. Along with the protocol combo, you can still activate a majority of your Altergeist monsters without being hindered by the Skill Drain. But this combo can backfire if your opponent pops protocol, causing your monsters to lose their effects as well. Number 9. Typhoon is a great hand trap that can pop your opponent's back row, as well as having the capability of comboing off with Multi-Faker to create advantage is truly amazing. However, this card does have limitations to popping a face-up spell or trap, and in order to activate this card from your hand, your opponent must have at least 2 spells or traps, and you must control no spells and traps, which definitely depreciates this card's value as the game goes on. Number 8. Torrential Tribute is a solid trap card that can punish your opponent for overextending. Because most of the Altergeist monsters have effects when they are sent to the graveyard, you can recycle your resources at the same time. Number 7. Evenly Matched has mostly been relegated to the side, but in this deck it has a lot of potential, with its capability of punishing your opponent for overcommitting to the board, as well as being a hand trap that can trigger Multi-Faker's effect. It is simply too good not to run. Number 6. Secret Village of the Spellcasters is the only spell that managed to make this list, and since it prevents your opponent from activating spell cards, it is one of the best cards to run in today's meta. Because of how prevalent Sky Strikers are, this card should be at least in every Altergeist player's side to help combat against that matchup. Number 5. Imperial Order, similar to Secret Village, is an excellent card in today's meta, and since it is a trap card, it can play into the deck's strategy to trigger Multi-Faker's effect. But unlike Secret Village, it doesn't require you to have a spellcaster on the field in order to negate spell cards. Number 4. Waking the Dragon is a great tech that primarily sees play in the side, and it can punish your opponent for blindly popping your back row by bringing out cards such as Ultimate Falcon or Last Warrior from Another Planet that can turn the tide of a game and make your opponent second guess popping your cards in the future. Cracking the top 3 is Chocolate Magician Girl. Since this deck lacks draw power besides Pot of Duality, it can be used as a way to boost the deck's consistency by discarding spellcasters to draw a card. Also, it can special summon a spellcaster type monster from the graveyard when it is targeted for an attack, meaning it can trigger Multi-Faker's effect to create advantage, as well as cutting the opponent's monster's attack in half. Number 2. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries is another card that is primarily used in the side deck. However, in today's meta, it can be absolutely devastating to your opponent and can be used to hinder their plays, hitting cards such as Electromite, Double Helix, Isolde, Dragon Buster, and can even be used in the mirror match to hit Hextia. Since this deck has so much extra deck space, if this card isn't being used in the main, it should be definitely ran in the side deck to give you an edge against the meta. Before we get to number 1, a few honorable mentions. Kaijus for dealing with your opponent's problematic monsters, as well as having the capability of being recycled through Silcatus. Rivalry of Warlords, another solid floodgate in the Altergeist deck that benefits from using primarily spellcasters. Magician's Right or Left Hand, which are very solid cards for negating your opponent's spells and traps. However, it is very easy to play around. And the top tech of this deck is Silent Magician. It must be special summoned by tributing a spellcaster, But since a majority of the Altergeist monsters have graveyard effects, it creates a lot of synergy for this deck. It can be used to tribute a Melusine to special summon itself and then search out a multi-faker, and is one of the better options for players in Europe that don't have access to Link Karibo. Silent Magician also has the capability of negating a spell card during either player's turn and gains 500 attack based on the number of cards in your hand. This card also floats when it is destroyed by battle or card effect. The Silent Magician has a lot of potential and adds another layer of disruption to the Altergeist player's arsenal. But anyways guys, that is my list. Tell me if there's anything I missed and what you'd like to see next in the comments down below. If at any point in time you enjoyed this creation, then give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to join the nation.